All right, so in a survival situation, we might find ourselves with absolutely nothing, meaning we need to either forage or find what we need. Having a cache set up is a pretty good idea, and I've been a little bit reluctant about these in the past, but I decided I'm going to try one out. I'm going to bury it in my backyard, and then we're going to see in about 6 months how everything turns out in it. I'm going to do this PVC cache. I went and bought this stuff. There's probably 1,000 videos on the internet how to do these. I'm going to do another one. And I'm also going to, in the second part of this video, I'm going to put some stuff that I have over here and package that all up, throw it in there, show you that process, and then we'll bury it, and 6 months later, or at the end of the summer, I will pull this sucker up and we'll see how it works. First of all, this stuff I went ahead and just bought at Home Depot. It cost me about $30. I got some of this stretch seal tape, which is a little bit more heavy duty than the average plumber's tape, but you can use that as well. I got some of the primer, some of the wet dry glue, a PVC pipe fitting where the top will screw on here, and the bottom end cap to go on the other side. Now, as well as the PVC caches, you can use a bunch of different things. You can use box containers as long as they're airtight, waterproof. These come in different sizes. They also have the ammo cache, which is a box that's bigger. You can use the big storage bins. It just depends on the materials you use and how quickly they degrade is how long that's going to last. This should last quite a long time, whereas something like this, or even a water bottle, if you put some plumber's tape around the top, seal that up, who knows how long this lasts underground, but you never know. A Berkey Sport is kind of nice because it's already got the filter in it. Stuff like that. It really depends on what you need it for, where it is, all of that, and we'll go through that in a bit. But all of this stuff cost me about $30. It's probably something that you might be able to do for cheaper depending on what you have around the house. But let's go ahead and get this kind of started. I'm going to put this down so I don't get glue all over the place. So we're going to start by just priming this end up here. We're going to put this end cap on right there. So what we're going to do is just prime the outside of this, and what priming does is basically cleans off any kind of junk or debris, and it kind of melts a little bit. It melts it a little bit as well, so it kind of gets it a better area to adhere to. And then sure glad I used that. And then we're going to put some glue on. And we're going to put glue on both sides of these. I don't know if that's absolutely necessary, but we're going to. So we'll take this. We want to do this kind of quickly. This stuff dries pretty quick. I don't know how quick, but I don't want to take any chances. We'll put some on the inside here. I want to make sure to get it all around it. You want to stay away from the threads though, because you don't want any stuff in the threads. And then we'll take and put this sucker on. Push it down nice and tight. And what we want to do is give it about a quarter turn, if we can, to get that nice and sealed in. Okay. So that part is on nice and good. Then we're going to do the exact same thing to this bottom part. Get a little bit of primer. Hopefully that washes off. Get a little bit of primer on there. Get that ready. If it drips down, no big deal. This stuff dries pretty quickly. We're going to throw some glue on both of these pieces. Whoop. Got a little on me. We'll get some glue on the inside of this. throw this sucker on and try to turn it as you go. Give it a quarter turn. It's pretty tough to turn once you're on there. That is pretty good. So this sucker's set up now. Now what we're going to do is take some of this tape, and I'm going to do this to show you. Usually I would fill it up before I do any of this, but I'm going to do this just to show you. And this stuff's a little bit harder to use than the regular white plumbing tape, which I'm sure that would work just as well. I'm just going to use this stuff to try it out. And once we have that on there, it should create a really nice seal once we put this sucker on. So that's basically it. Now we can start working on some of the stuff we're going to put in there. And that really depends on your needs, what you plan on doing with it. Are you bugging in? Are you bugging out? Is this going to be around your home? Is it going to be halfway between your where you are and your bug out location? What the supplies you need in it? Do you want first aid supplies, communication supplies, maybe ammunition, stuff like that? It really depends on your situation, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But this one is basically going to be a bug out bag replenishing kit. I'm just going to take some stuff that I have and throw it in here. This, I have an idea that I maybe want to set a couple up from on the way to my bug out route. So this one though is just going to be a test. But let's go ahead and get into some of the stuff that we're going to put into this. Okay, before we go into what I did to fit what I put in this cache, I wanted to show you a couple things with the seals. What I did was fill this with water just to check to see how airtight it was. Now, the bottom seal where I put the glue and the primer, and the top seal were both pretty good. So those I didn't have any problem with at all. What I did have the problem with was around the top where I put that tape in. You can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but it had just a couple little tiny leaks. So what I'm going to do is put some what's called plumber's goop on there, and I got to wait until we put everything in there to do this, but I'm just going to put it around that seal right there, and that will be sealed airtight. Now keep in mind that we're going to have to be able to open this in the future, so you're going to want to have the tools and stuff with you. Otherwise you're going to have to figure out how to crack this sucker open.